Tampa meant everything to me. It still does. I won 2 cups there. I'll go back there after the season. I'll retire there. Seeing it grow since I got there, it's a really special place. So just thank you to everyone that was a part of that organization.
Pass the torch, man. Keeps getting better.
Alex Killorn, welcome to the podcast, Pass the Torch. Thanks for joining out here in beautiful Lake Tahoe. Your first time out here, but how you been?
Been good, man. Thanks for having me. It's a pretty fun weekend out here. It's just getting started, my first time, but looking forward to everything here.
Yeah, you're going to absolutely love it. We've been out here. I came out last year with Joe Pass the first time. He's obviously been here a bunch of times. Yeah. Came in second last year, so high hopes for him. Hopefully he can take down Roamo, but do you like your chances in the tournament?
I don't know if I like my chances at my odds. I think I'm like 30-1 or 22-1. I think it'd be worthwhile sprinkling a little something on me. I mean, I haven't played with Pavs or Tony. I think we have similar type handicaps, but I haven't played the course, so I don't know how it's going to go. It'll be interesting to see.
And then you got a veteran guy on your bag, Colt. I always screw up his name.
Colt Nost.
Nost. I always say Nost. Colt Nost.
Yeah.
But veteran guy in the bag. So what do you expect from Colt this week?
I don't know. I mean, I'm excited to have him on the bag. He's been on the PGA Tour. He's a great golfer. He knows a ton about golf. But last night, we were going around. He knows everyone. Yeah. It's crazy. He's going up and talking to Barkley and a bunch of guys, and everyone told me it may be a bad decision that I got him on my bag. So we'll see how it goes.
Why is that?
I don't know. That's just what people were telling me.
He might be a little like a dictatorship out there.
I don't know exactly. I don't know
club selections.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. So diving into your hockey journey a little bit. Grew up in Canada, obviously. We've had on a bunch of Canadians in the NHL, and I love to always ask, like, could you skate before you could walk up there? Is that kind of the deal?
I was put on skates before I could walk.
Yeah.
I couldn't really skate then, but
yeah.
I was kind of pushing my mom and dad would push me around. Yeah. That's just kind of the way it is in Canada. So I grew up, we grew up like there's a park down the street from me, and there's tennis courts, and they get turned into like an outdoor rink every winter. Yep. So just walk down the street and kind of spend your winters there.
Yeah. And so you decided to go the prep school route. You went to Deerfield in Mass. Yeah. We're Boston guys, so I know Deerfield well.
Yeah.
But what was your decision to go to Deerfield versus the other different minor league hockey leagues and juniors and all that? Yeah. What was your decision there?
So the decision for being a Quebec player is either you go play major junior in the Q or the QMJHL, or you go to college. The only tough part is a lot of guys from Quebec don't get a lot of college exposure because most of the guys just go to junior. Yeah. So I went to boarding school or prep school, whatever you want to call it, in Deerfield, just so I could be seen by colleges, not really knowing where I wanted to go. So once I went to Deerfield, I kind of got a couple colleges that were interested, and we went from there. Yeah, I committed to Harvard my junior year.
Yeah. And then, obviously, great career at Harvard, Ivy League school. What's your mom more proud of? Because I've heard you talk about this in interviews before. Yeah. The 2 Stanley Cups or that Harvard degree?
She would say the Harvard degree for sure. She was a teacher, so that was really important. I mean, I think she kind of when we were going through the college process, she was kind of guiding me to Harvard. That was kind of where she wanted me to go the whole time. Luckily, they had a great hockey program, and it just worked out. But, I think she's definitely more proud of that. I mean, she always had the mindset that, if you don't make it in hockey, you might as well set yourself up to succeed in life. And it ended up working out in hockey, but I'm happy I did it that way.
It did work out in hockey, but for this instance that it didn't, and you have that Harvard degree, what field, what direction would your career have gone, do you think? What would you be doing right now if you were in the NHL?
I get asked that question all the time, and it's so tough. A lot of guys that I went to Harvard with ended up in finance. I don't know if I would have done that. Maybe something in the real estate sphere is what interests me, so probably something in that sphere.
Yep. And so they're drafted by the Lightning in 2007, I believe.
Yeah.
And then was it your first game was what, in 2013, 2012?
It was either 2012 or 2013. It was right. It might have been 2013. It was a 2012-2013 season, the lockout year.
Yeah, the lockout year.
And, first game, Madison Square Garden, kind of
MSG.
just thrown right into it.
That's a welcome to the NHL
moment. It was really cool. Getting the call. I was playing in Syracuse at the time, and our GM was like, pack your bags, you're playing at MSG tomorrow. my parents were actually flying. They were going on a vacation. They had to like stop on their connection, and they flew back to make the game. But yeah, that was a special moment. And then right before the game, shout out to Bugsy Malone. Ryan Malone got hurt right playing like soccer before the game, so I got boosted up onto the power play on the second line. Yeah, it was great.
That's
Not
awesome.
Great for him, but great for me, I guess, to get that opportunity.
Bugsy's a friend of the program.
Okay,
so,
good.
That's awesome.
Shout out to
though.
Bugsy. Yeah,
That's got to be one of the better calls in the story or in your life that you could ever get, right? That call for your first game. So you settled into a nice role early on with the Lightning, but who were some of those leaders early on in the Lightning's organization that kind of took you under their wing and you learned from in the beginning?
Man, there were so many guys. I mean, I was with the Lightning for 11 years, but when I was younger, John Cooper, obviously the coach, he was
legend.
It's kind of weird. He's been my only coach in pro hockey. So I had Guy Boucher for like a couple months right when I got called up, but he was great for me. I was with him in Norfolk and Syracuse. I mean, Marty St. Louis, Vinny Lecavalier, guys like that coming into a locker room. I grew up in Montreal, so these guys were heroes for us. And to play my first game, and to get – I actually got an assist. My first game, I got an assist, and Vinny scored the goal.
Wow.
So just kind of like these cool moments that happen. But, yeah, those guys. And Stammer was my age, but he still, was a leader at the time and stuff like that. So
absolute stud. And then so your squad had early success. So I think you went to the Cup in 2015, right? You guys ended up losing. And, again, I've heard you say that loss hurts worse than some of the wins feel good. Explain a little bit deeper to that feeling.
Yeah, it's just I don't know how to really explain it. I mean, the wins feel great. They really do, but it's like anything. I mean, I'm sure you've heard before, those losses just they stick around, and all summer you just kind of wake up thinking what could have been. And I'm fortunate that after that loss we ended up winning 2. You still think about the loss against Colorado and could have been 4. But in the end, you have to think, you're pretty fortunate for what happened, and to have 2 cups in my career, and maybe get another one. That would be really special.
Yeah, and that loss, I mean, it probably drove you for the rest of your career, and then you guys obviously had a bunch of success in the last few seasons. But before that, so 2019, you were named alternate captain, right?
Yeah.
The Lightning, and obviously with Steven Stamkos as the captain and Victor Hedman there as well. Just what are those dudes like as teammates?
They're great. I mean, listen, they're Hall of Famers. So when you get to play with guys like that, I kind of grew up with them in the NHL. Obviously, Stammer and Heddy being high draft picks and being kind of superstars, right? At least Stammer was a superstar right away. Heddy, it took him a little bit longer, but these guys were, big names in the NHL. And to play alongside of them, I learned a lot from them, leaders in the locker room. And to do it as long as they have, like Stammer hasn't, really lost a step. He scores. It seems like he scores, 80 to 100 points every season. It's been super impressive. And then Heddy being nominated, it seems like every year for the Norris. So it's been great to learn from those guys, true pros.
The longevity with those guys, too, is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. I mean, who knows how much longer they'll play. Stammer, I think, he's about my age. I don't know how much longer. They could play as long as they probably want, especially Hedman, too, as big as he is and as good of a skater as he is. I think they'll play till, they feel satisfied. I guess they've done everything they could in the game. I mean, they'll probably chase another cup or something like that.
Absolutely. And then even for you, right? Like, I think you just finished up your 11th season, maybe. Yeah. It seems like you keep getting better every year. So, like, what's the secret to success there for your longevity?
It's tough because typically at my age, you kind of see a decline just because guys get older. They kind of slow down, especially with the NHL. It seems like every year it just gets so fast with these young guys. But for myself, I feel like I've always tried to become a better player. I've done stuff off the ice in terms of, health and nutrition, working with coaches on my game, and those kind of things have helped me improve every year. And I feel like I've been fortunate that I haven't been injured.
Yeah, knock on some wood. I think there's some wood on the couch
down here. I haven't been injured, right? And that kind of slows guys down in their career. So I've been very fortunate in that sense. And I feel like I've just kept getting better and learning a lot about the game. So without those injuries, you can keep getting better and keep improving.
Yeah, it shows, man. And then so in 2020, you finally get that cup.
Yeah.
What was your cup celebration like? Walk me through that day when you have that cup and you're with your family and friends.
Yeah.
What was your day like?
Yeah, well, we actually didn't get a day with the cup our first year because it was COVID.
COVID, yeah.
Well, it was weird because we didn't get a day back home with the Cup, but the Cup stayed in Tampa all summer.
Oh, okay.
So I had like 10 days with the Cup.
There you go.
And we would just, it was really kind of weird, but we would just call Phil, who's the Cup guy, and be like, hey, we're going to dinner. Just bring the Cup. And he'd bring it. And but the next year when we won again, I got to bring it home to my hometown in Montreal, and all my friends and family. Chris was there, and it was a great time. Listen, like that moment's really for all like your family and friends that helped you get to that point. And for them, it's a big thing, but just for them to enjoy that moment, to really cherish that.
Yeah, there's no harder journey in the world than winning a championship in the NHL.
Yeah.
And so I know you probably get asked this all the time, but you guys won on the bubble, right? So was it anticlimactic with like the celebration and whatnot with no fans in the stadium? Like, walk me through that a little bit.
The whole bubble thing was really weird.
Yeah.
And you've probably talked to Pavs about it.
Yeah.
Super weird experience. You're like away from your family for, I think it was like 2 months, in a hotel where you can't really leave.
Yeah.
So at first everyone kind of wanted to get out of there and go home. Once we won our first round, it's like, hey, we have a chance to win this thing. Let's get serious here. We were obviously serious the whole time, but there's always that thought in your mind of getting out of there. But once we won, it wasn't that anticlimactic. I mean, you win your first Cup. It's such a special moment. I had my dad there, which was really cool. Some of us were able to bring, if our families were Canadian, we could bring them. So we were able to celebrate with them. And once we flew back home, we had like a big boat parade. It was awesome. Florida didn't really have the COVID rules that a lot of other states did, so we were able to celebrate kind of normally.
Between the Bucks Super Bowl party, your guys' parties, like those Tampa Super Bowl or those championship parties looked absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I mean, the boat parade was done because of COVID. So typically it would have been, on buses throughout the city, but thank God it happened that way because it was so much of a better experience. Being on the boats with all the fans. I mean, there were so many boats. If you see some of the pictures, I'll never forget those days. Those were awesome days. Yeah.
Yeah, and then also like on the COVID period timeline as well. Talk to me about Doc Talk, right?
Doc Talk, yeah.
I watched some of your videos. They were fantastic. But you were driving up to people's houses on their docks in your jet ski, bringing them food and stuff. But walk me through that, how it all started, and how much fun you had.
So the reason it began was our media guy told me to kind of do a message to the fans, and I'm sure you saw a million players or a lot of the NHL players do it, the kind of, hey, it sucks we're not playing, we appreciate the fans kind of thing. And I was like, I have all this free time, I'm kind of bored. We live on an island, a lot of the players, so I can get to a lot of my teammates' houses by jet ski.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be funny to just kind of bring them some supplies when COVID, you couldn't get toilet paper and soap, so I just went to Stammer's house, Hetty's house, and did a quick little interview, and it kind of took off. We ended up raising a ton of money, and it's been great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I feel like you do yourself kind of lean into the media world a little bit more than some of the other players in the NHL, and obviously like TorchPro, that's what we're all about, is like helping athletes tell those stories. But why do you think it's important to kind of have a personality and embrace social media a little bit more than others?
I think it just helps the fans connect with players. That's, it kind of gives you a story, but when fans can connect with you, they feel they're closer to the team. They want to come watch games. You build a brand yourself. It's not all about your own brand, but that does help. I mean, future of hockey, you look at a lot of the guys that have built brands. They typically end up working, in broadcasting and stuff like that. So I think it's just important, and it's important for the NHL. I think, the other leagues are doing pretty good when you look at their revenues and stuff. And I think a part of that is because their players are brands and they brand themselves so well. Whereas NHL, a lot of guys, they don't do it because they think it may be selfish or taken away from the team. And I think it's kind of coming around where guys realize this can help the league, it can help themselves out, and you see a lot of guys doing it more now.
Yeah, it's just weird, like culture in hockey where it's like in the locker room, like you look down upon if you're embracing social media. But I think it's starting to come around a little bit more, which is good. To your point, it helps grow the game.
For sure.
And to your point as well, is like things after hockey, like not only can the Harvard degree help you after hockey, but like building your own personal brand can really go a long way as well.
For sure, yeah. Marketability is great. Yeah, I remember when Instagram first came out, and when guys would post, like the older guys would just tear into you in the locker room.
Yeah.
They would be like, "What are you doing, dude? Like, why are you posting that?" And now they're the guys that are posting it later in their careers, so it's funny.
There's a lot of money to be made. I think I saw Stammer chirp you when you pulled up to the dock. He's like, "Oh, how's influencer life?"
Yeah, they'll give it to me, and it's fine. I don't care. It's as long as you can take it a little bit.
I love it. The fans love it, so I would keep doing you. It's cool.
For sure.
It's cool to watch.
Yeah, thank you.
And so, as we said, going along in your hockey career here a little bit, 12th season coming up, signed a new deal with the Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah.
How excited are you for that? And like, how excited are you for embrace a new franchise out in California?
Listen, it's this summer has been crazy. It's been a whirlwind, kind of trying to figure out where you're gonna go, where you're gonna land. I told someone I'm following Disney, so I'm going from one Disney on one side of the country to the other. But listen, I'm really excited about Anaheim. I was just there before this, looking at homes. Newport, that area is unbelievable. It's going to be different than Florida, especially hockey-wise. It's going to be a process, but a process I think everyone in that organization is looking forward to with so much young talent. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch. I guess, like, finish up the hockey career here, if you just had kind of one final, like, message or just what did Tampa Bay mean to you, spending so many years there and developing your career in the NBA today?
Tampa meant everything to me. It still does. Like, I won 2 cups there. Yeah. Tampa's my home. I go back there after this. I'll go back there after the season. I'll retire there. The fans have been so good. And even seeing it grow since I got there, 11 years, all the success we had, seeing, how exciting it is in Amalie Arena. It's a really special place. So just thank you to everyone that was a part of that organization.
It's been cool. I'm a Boston fan. I'm a Bruins fan, but it's been cool to see kind of that, like, hockey culture down there from a fandom standpoint, like, really explode. Obviously, It helps that you guys went to a few Stanley Cups and brought the cup home, but, like, it's cool to see that explosion of sports fandom down in Tampa.
No, it's great. I mean, listen, especially you saw it this past year with the Florida Panthers. You just got to start winning, and then fans will come. And they have great fans in Florida, Nashville, Carolina. These teams in the Southeast that people said probably wouldn't do so well have been doing great, and I think that's probably one of the favorite places for players to play in the NHL.
Absolutely. All right, so some rapid fire here, and then we'll get you out of here. But who's your favorite athlete growing up as a kid?
Favorite athlete? Tiger Woods, probably. I like Pavel Bure also, which, being a Canadian, I don't know if you could say that, but I love Pavel Bure.
Who's your favorite athlete to watch in current day sports?
I mean, Patrick Mahomes. He's here at the tournament.
Yeah.
Pretty special, but I'm a golfer, man. I still love watching Tiger play.
Yeah, he's exciting when he gets out there.
Yeah.
What's your favorite club in the bag?
Favorite club in the bag is probably my pitching wedge.
Favorite music artist?
Ooh. That's a tough one. No, I like country. I mean, like Luke Combs, Morgan Wallen. They're good.
Zach Bryan.
Zach Bryan.
That's the guy?
I don't know why I couldn't. I'm sorry.
He's my answer, too.
So Zach Bryan is awesome. Yeah, I love his music.
I went to his concert earlier this year and just, like,
it was pretty good.
Fell in love. Oh, yeah. Unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can get to one, go.
Yeah.
All right, 2 more. What's your biggest fear?
Being buried alive, probably.
That's everyone's answer.
Is that what everyone says?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. That is a scary thing.
One word that best describes you.
Resilient.
I was going to say killer. But one final question here to wrap it all up in your journey in hockey and beyond. But if you have one lesson that you've learned throughout your career that you could pass along to the next generation to help them accomplish their dreams, what would that one lesson be?
I mean, just don't put a ceiling on yourself, I remember I golfed with Marty St. Louis like 4 years ago, and I was telling him, when I get older and I become a veteran, I'll probably be more of like a PK guy. Kind of guys fall into those roles and he's like, why? Like, why? And I was like, what? It's a good question. And ever since I've talked to him, I kind of had better seasons and I've kept getting better. And so kind of just don't put a ceiling on yourself. Even you're a certain age, you can always get better. And like for myself, I just want to keep getting better, keep having better years. So, yeah, that's my advice.
Mindset, man. I love it. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast. Good luck out the ACC, and we'll see how you do out there.
Thanks, guys.
Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoyed the content. There's plenty more Pass the Torch episodes, along with other podcasts we got going on and video series we do. So subscribe, and we'll see you later.